Kick the Can is another one of those classic Twilight Zone episodes that have stood the test of time. It's remembered fondly by many who have seen it for its ageless quality. That's highly appropriate considering the subject matter of this story. Charles Whitley is a resident at Sunnyvale Rest Home. He's excited to finally be leaving with his son, who's coming to pick him up that day. Unfortunately, Charles's son says he's not able to take his father back with him due to limited space and an expanding family of his own. He leaves the saddened old man at Sunnyvale to live out his remaining years. After seeing children play kick the can outside, Charles is struck with an idea. Maybe growing old is a choice. He starts to act more playful, running through sprinklers and changing his attitude. This perceived regression scares his crotchety childhood friend Ben, who is also a resident of the home. Fearing he's gone senile, the superintendent plans to isolate Charles, but when Ben tells his old pal this, it triggers one last desperate attempt at recapturing his youth. Late that night, Charles wakes up all the other seniors, minus the set-in-his-ways Ben, and convinces them to play kick the can outside. After distracting the attending nurse, all the residents start the game. This awakens the superintendent, who with Ben, runs outside to stop the seniors before they get hurt. This was the final full Twilight Zone script written by George Clayton Johnson. He did return for a story by credit in Season 5, but even that was under a pseudonym. Kick the Can is a story that goes along nicely with Johnson's previous installment, Nothing in the Dark. They were both well directed by Lamont Johnson, and they both dealt with the fear of death and aging that go along with people in their older years. Johnson always had authentic sentimentality present in his scripts, and this may be the one that tugs at your heartstrings the most. It's certainly the most mainstream and well-known of his episodes, and it's not just his script that works here. Lamont Johnson's directing, along with the acting from the cast, really knock it out of the park, and lift Kick the Can into legendary Twilight Zone territory. Ernest Truex was previously seen in Season 1's What You Need as Padot the Peddler. I liked him in that episode, but he really shines in a few choice scenes as the young at heart Charles Whitley. He goes through a lot of emotions as the episode proceeds, from excitement to sadness to anger to hope. Truex really had to put on one heck of a performance. While I don't think he quite nails it 100% of the time, when he does hit the bullseye, he smashes right through it.
Did you ever stop to think of it? All kids play those games, and the minute they stop, they begin to grow old.
Truex had great chemistry with Russell Collins, who portrayed Whitley's on-screen best friend, Ben Conroy. They both play their roles well, as one is a dreamer and the other a staunch realist.
You decided that you were an old man, and that has made you old.
I am old, and so are you, Charles, and that's a fact.
Fact.
You're used up, worn out by a lifetime.
Bernard Herrmann's Walking Distance musical score is expertly reused at the perfect moments. We had heard portions of it in other episodes, but the emotions of melancholy, nostalgia, and longing that these notes add to Kick the Can are utilized to maximum effect. Charles's childlike belief in magic could easily have been mishandled as schmaltzy or manipulative. In the hands of Truex and Lamont Johnson, this little old man convincingly expounds upon that belief in a way that could bring a tear to the most cynical man's eye.
There is magic in the world. I know there is. When I fell in love with Mary and kissed her for the first time, when my boy was born, that was magic. Friendship is a magic thing.
When the superintendent and Ben go outside, they only see children playing the titular game. As the official runs off to see if they're in another area, Ben recognizes one of the scamps as Charles. He miraculously looks exactly as he did when they were kids. After Ben begs his friend to take him with, little Charles runs off with the rest of the children, leaving only old Ben to sit on the steps of the rest home, can in hand, and ponder how he missed his one chance to become young again. That is a heartbreaking ending. Watching Ben get left behind while all his fellow residents, and more importantly his best friend, disappear into the distance in their blissfully youthful forms really hurts. The moment when the old man recognizes Charles and pleads with him is pathos at its best.
Charles! Charlie, is that you? It's me, Benny. Charlie, take me with you.
That's what into the forest is rotten apple.
No, Charlie. No. Wait for me. Charlie. It's me. It's me.
On the other hand, this is a very happy ending. Charles achieves his dream of becoming young again and takes most of his elderly friends with him. I love that their young voices trail off, almost indicating that they're traveling to a different plane of existence. It's a perfect bittersweet conclusion, showing those young at heart juxtaposed with one who has chosen to grow old. I love this kind of stuff. Kick the Can was remade as one of the segments in Twilight Zone the movie, directed by Steven Spielberg. There's a bit of a different angle taken where we see the young kids transform back into elderly adults by the end. However, they all keep their youthful spirit. George Clayton Johnson actually consulted on the writing of this segment by suggesting Spielberg and his team follow what happens to these folks after they're transformed into children. They would have no place to go, and thus revert to their previous forms. Personally, I wasn't a big fan of how that was all handled in the 1983 film. I understand wanting to put their own twist on it, but the ending to the 1962 episode was just too flawless to be as effective any other way. This probably isn't a surprise to anyone out there who has watched most of my TZ reviews and has some sense of my personal taste, but I really enjoyed Kick the Can. It's cleverly directed, expertly written, wonderfully acted, and deserves its place as one of the most famous episodes of the series. It is absolutely required viewing if you're looking for the good stuff. The genuine heart, solid message, and bittersweet ending aren't matched by many installments in this show. So embrace your inner child, Google how to play Kick the Can, grab some friends, and have some fun. And one of those places that you could feel like a kid again. The Twilight Zone.